Hey guys, it's Jesse, and in this video we're going to be talking about the new GAN Megaminx. So this is the GAN Megaminx Maglev, and this one also has UV coating. So this is GAN's second Megaminx, an upgrade to their first one, which came out all the way back in 2019 now. So their Megaminx was definitely due for an upgrade. I'm very excited to see what this one has in store. So the biggest thing right off the bat is that it is a Maglev puzzle. There hasn't been a Megaminx that has Maglev yet. But yeah, very simple, kind of standard GAN box, very shiny, and it kind of just unfolds like this, and then you just get the Megaminx. And let's see if there's anything here at the bottom. A GAN bag, some pamphlets, and then you've got your adjustment tool. This is the same one that comes with the 13 and 14 3x3s, and then a Megaminx card, which is really nice. So yeah, this is the case that it comes in. I've never seen a Megaminx with a case like this, so I'm already a fan. I like this. Let's just go ahead and open it up. Very, very nice presentation. And again, I am pretty sure this is the first Megaminx to be UV coated. So if I kind of shine it in the light, you can see how the concave surface works. So the only concave pieces are just the corners. So the edges and the center are completely flat. So we can just go ahead and do some turns here, kind of see how the grip feels. I'm really not much of a Megaminx solver, so excuse my kind of poor turning, but I actually do like the grip quite a bit. It's not a very noticeable change to how the puzzle actually looks. I think this is about as minimal of a grip design that you could really do that is still actually useful for grip. I also was a bit worried about the UV coating potentially being kind of slippery on a puzzle like a Megaminx, but this really feels fine to me. I actually like the UV coating. I know it's kind of divisive though, not everyone likes it, so there is a matte version also available, but this UV one really does feel nice. I also like the colors a lot. They're very vibrant. There will also be a version that has a black side pre-installed. Now, ideally, they would just include black caps with the cube, and then you can choose which side you want to replace, because people have pretty different preferences when it comes to which side they want to make black. I personally always do it on gray, but I can totally see how someone would want to do it on like any of these four kind of lighter colored faces to make one of these darker. But either way, it's nice that they are including some other color options. What I'm really getting from this is that it just kind of has that GAN 3x3 feeling. The turns are very, very lightweight, very fast, just a bit kind of clacky, and it's not really that locky. I'll try and do some algorithms. Let's see. Yeah, it actually feels really consistent, but in terms of just how the turns kind of feel, it feels sort of like a GAN 12, honestly. Like very papery kind of feel. Just very, very lightweight layers. So right off the bat, the main problem I can imagine people will have with this cube is that it's gonna maybe feel a bit flimsy just because it's so light and it has that sort of airy feeling and papery feeling. I'm not liking this out of the box, at least, as much as like the GAN Megaminx Pro, but the magnet strength is really good. So it's hitting like a really good balance between not pulling on the layer too hard, not being too snappy, but it's also strong enough that it really keeps things stable. So it's not just these magnets between the edges and the corners that are keeping things stable. Just like the GAN Megaminx Pro, there's also a ball core in here with magnets going from the corners to the core. So that's got me curious to take a look at the mechanism. So let's go ahead and open the cube up. So I've taken a few pieces out here so you can see the ball core a bit better. Yeah, there's basically 5 magnets per axis for the 5 corners. And then on the corner piece, we've got our 3 exposed magnets here plus this corner magnet. So yeah, very GAN-esque design here. You can see they've even put the honeycomb pattern in here where there is space, and the edge is actually very, very simple. No honeycomb or anything, just some lines here. Simple torpedo, pretty straightforward design. So what I am very curious to take a look at is the adjustment system. So, okay, yeah. So it's basically just the GAN 13 and GAN 14 adjustment system put in a Megaminx. So it's actually pretty good. We get consistent tensions, consistent settings across all sides. It's very, very hard to tension a Megaminx with just screws and getting the same depth on all 12 sides. It's pretty tricky. So basically, if you want to tighten the cube, you just go this way. So 1 is the tightest. And you can tell because this ring will physically be sitting lower than the ring that has the numbers on it. And when you go to 6, it pops back up again. Another really nice thing I'm liking about this is that you have just actual physical arrows right here and also right down here. So those will literally just point to the spring compression setting that you're on. Thank you, GAN. I've been wanting something like this in every cube that has this system. So basically the way I understand it, the way this system works is the top dial is gonna adjust basically center depth. So it's moving the center down towards the core, and the spring compression, it's not even a spring because it's maglev, but the compression system is moving the bottom magnet up, right? So one of them is going like this, and the other one is going like this. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's how it makes sense to me. So by doing this, right, by kind of lowering the whole center down, you're making the cube feel tighter. It's not gonna turn as fast. And by compressing the maglev, you're also kind of making the cube tighter, but it makes the cube feel more like snappy and tactile as opposed to just being tighter. Loose tension with tight compression, or like tight tension with loose compression, it feels kind of different. So you can mess around with it to your heart's desire. I think what I'm gonna do, I want the cube to feel a little less flimsy. So I think I'm just gonna leave the tension alone and just tighten the compression down. So it's on 2 by default. So I think I'm gonna just max it. Like, let's just go all the way to 6. Okay, so I've adjusted like most of the sides, I'm just missing a couple, but just turning it now, I can already tell that this is like pretty tight. So I think I'm just gonna kind of go in the middle. So it was on 2, I went to 6, so I'm gonna back it off to 4. Still just like a hint of kind of looseness, flimsiness that I want to sort of eliminate if possible. So all I'm gonna do is just nudge the tension up by 1 click. Okay, so everything's set to 4 now instead of 5. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that. That feels good. So let's go ahead and put the caps back on. Oh God, what have I done? Okay, I guess this is just user error and me being too forceful with placing the caps back, but I broke one of the pieces. So if you can see here, this little bit of plastic basically just partially snapped off because of the force of putting the cap back in. I feel like that amount of force is just like inevitable when you're putting a cap back in for Mega. So that is actually really worrying to me. Or maybe it's just me just pounding them in or something. I don't know. I didn't really feel like that's what I was doing, but I guess I was being a bit too careless. Anyway, I was wondering why it felt so weird when I started turning it, but yeah, the puzzle does actually feel really nice now. To me, it just feels a bit more stable, not quite as flimsy feeling. Let's just take a look at this GAN Megaminx in comparison with the other 2 kind of good Megaminxes that people often will pick. So we've got the YJ Yuhu V2. So this one is $17. It's the cheapest of the 3. And it is also probably the most widely used. So this has been used to set a bunch of world records. It's been used by a lot of fast solvers. Just very stable, very solid. It has this really aggressive grip, but it is a little too much for some people. And the turning is also a little rough. It's not the best. So a lot of people also like the GAN Megaminx because it's a lot smoother. It's also faster, and the grip assistance is less intense. So this just kind of has more of like a ridge, like a GTS 3 type ridge, but far more subtle than the GTS 3. And this GAN Megaminx Pro also has a ball core, and this one is also the larger one. So you can get one that's the same size as kind of a Megaminx that you're used to. And as you can see, this new GAN one is actually, I think it's basically the same size. So the GAN Megaminx Pro is also $37, so considerably more expensive than this Yuhu. But compared to the GAN Megaminx, the GAN Mega starts looking cheap because the GAN Mega starts at $58. And it jumps up to $67 for the UV coated one, which is this one here. So honestly, pretty standard GAN pricing. I really wasn't expecting much less for this puzzle. So if price is a major concern for you, definitely I think that just rules this out right away. I would just get a Yuhu. In terms of overall performance, my initial thought is that I think this one is probably the best, the GAN Mega. But again, I'm not really a Mega solver. I don't know how the meta is going to change with the top solvers. I think a lot of them still just use this and not really this that much anyway. So I'm really not sure how much people are going to gravitate to this GAN Mega, but it is certainly a good Megaminx. I can't really think of a reason why it's considerably worse than either of these two outside of just the price. I'm not going to show any of my Megaminx solves because there's really not anything to see, but I will show some solves that we filmed with Philip Lewicki, who was here recently, who is a pretty solid Megaminx solver, much better than any of us here. And after talking to him, he was basically saying a lot of the same things, that the cube is pretty good. Like it's got good turning and it's fast, but it's just a little flimsy basically. But if you're really into GAN cubes and you like the way they feel, this Megaminx is going to be very similar to how a GAN 3x3 feels. So that's really about it for the GAN Megaminx. Is it worth the price? This is the question with every GAN cube, and it's hard to say. I mean, time will tell if world-class cubers actually start using this cube and start setting records with it. But just from the perspective of a much more casual solver, this isn't really any better than the Yoo-Hoo or the Dian Mega if they're set up well. It's a very good Megaminx, but for up to me, I would go with one of those two instead of getting this, just because this one is quite expensive. But again, if you already are a fan of GAN cubes, you really like the way the GAN 3x3s feel, and you want a Megaminx that has that same sort of feeling, this is the one to get. And all of the links will be in the description. I think by the time this video comes out, the black side version will be in stock and we'll be starting to ship those out. So once you guys start getting this cube, definitely let us know your thoughts in the comments. Anyway, that's about it for this one. See you later.